Today, we are going to be rating some AI-generated Magic the Gathering cards. Well, there's our bingo card, and there's our cards. We're going to start off with the Citadel Transformation. This is a 3-mana enchantment. The legend rule doesn't apply to creatures you control. Okay, quite fascinating. And when Citadel Transformation leaves the battlefield, destroy all non-human creatures. So this is almost like a self-destruction type of card. You play this thing, you try to be a human deck. It doesn't affect the humans, but if it comes down, it's going to destroy all the non-humans. I don't know the flavor to that thing. The legend rule doesn't apply to creatures you control. I think this is a pretty unique card. Send it straight to the printers. All right, tell WotC, let them know that this needs to be printed, reprinted, put in every single commander deck, every single starter deck. Put in Magic the Gathering foundations for many years to come. The Citadel Transformation, which is funny. It's transformation, but at the same time, the legend rule doesn't apply, so we can have the same thing on the battlefield. You know, a little bit of oxymoron action. Next up, the Ebony Line. This is a 2-mana 2/1 human soldier. For 2 mana, reveal Ebony Line from your hand. If a creature died this turn, you gain 1 life and draw a card for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. How does this work? What is this, an alchemy card? So I can activate the ability from my hand? No, it has to be in play. Okay, hold on. So it's got to be in play, and then I reveal another Ebony Line card from my hand, and then do I have to reveal it? It says if a creature died this turn, it actually looks like it doesn't even matter. If a creature died this turn, you gain 1 life and draw a card for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Yeah, I reveal a different one, but it doesn't even matter because it would say if you do, and if a creature died this turn, you gain 1 life and draw a card for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. It's a pretty powerful. Honestly, it's a pretty powerful card. 2 mana. And what is it like? It's not exactly revolt. What is the there is a mechanic for if something died. Reveal a card from your hand was already a mechanic. I think it was forecast. No, there's like a lot of cards that are like reveal the card from your hand, and if you do, some other card costs like less mana. Reveal this card, reveal that card. Morbid, yeah. It was Morbid that I was thinking about. So basically, what is this? Just 2 mana. Morbid. You gain 1 life and draw a card for each instant card and sorcery card in your graveyard, which is absolutely bonkers, to be honest. It's not a very it's not a very tough creature. Basically dies to a brisk breeze, but ability is pretty strong. Very, very strong. Anyway, I guess we could let it pass. It's still a little bit of work to get online. Oh yeah, you can do it more than once a turn. What, does that make it broken? No, but something has to die. And by the way, like in response to something threatening to die, you can also kill the Ebony Line at the same time. So it is conditional. I think it's conditional enough to make work, in my opinion. You can even fill your graveyard with your own removal spells, which actually compounds the problem. Next, we got Venge the Pandor. This is a 6-mana 0/0 Archon flying. When Venge the Pandor dies, create 4 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens and a number of blood tokens. What not? What number? Any number, I suppose, when it dies. Yeah, okay, we have 4 white human soldiers, and you know what? You have an unlimited number of blood tokens. Hear that, Pedge Man? Your vampire deck is completely online. Yeah, you choose. It could be infinity. It could be 100 billion. Yeah, sweet. I need 14 million blood tokens. It'll go great in my affinity deck. It's exactly what I need. There are decks that will absolutely break the crap out of that. Benovsky with Forecast Red Zybers, colorless and danger. Thanks so much. Benovsky with that super chat. We'll take a look at an extra card at the end of the show. My Mirkwood Bats stonks just went through. I'll just take 1,000. Don't want to be too greedy. Also, you might not have that many blood tokens. Does anyone have enough blood tokens? Does any of this hit our bingo thing? This is our bingo card for today. All or nothing, absurd, making, unspecified, that, forgot the shuffle, has the flips. Saying one word of text. We gotta keep this in mind. Keep two eyes on the grammar around here. One of these days, create a show about sagas. One day, I guess we'll do that. Anyway, this card, unspecified, unprinted. To the rank with it. Next up, we got Rads. Evan-Cal Accent. This is a 4-mana plant Dawn. It's a 3/4 creature with flying. Whenever another ninja destroyed with Rads, Evan-Cal Accent deals combat damage to a player. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each experience counter on it. Creatures you control with Forest Walk can be blocked as though they didn't have Forest Walk. Well, that doesn't sound good. What's funny is it's anti-Forest Walk synergy for my plant. It's for my plants. I guess that's how they balance this first ability out. I mean, that first ability is so OP that we need to turn off the Forest Walk on my creatures. Yeah, bad donate target. This is why we have to give our opponents. Make sure them Forest Walk creatures don't get out of control. Some of those elves have Forest Walk. And make sure that we can block those damn things. Non-functional ability and downside. Welcome back, bot. Yeah. Always be you, AI generated. Always be you. Forever stay in your style. Eureka finally gonna have it. Yeah, perhaps. The art looks like something from a medieval manuscript. Maybe. It's probably where they got inspired. It also has a little bit of newspaper print on the back of it. I don't know about the rest of you, but sometimes I will put something on a newspaper and then stack something else on top, and then, a few days later, the newspaper print just peels right onto it. Sort of wears off. It combos with Urnham Djinn if you donate it. That's beautiful. All right. It is amazingly terrible. It's bad. And not in a good way. Thirst Storm. You're thirsty for some lightning? It's a 4-mana instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Why does it have so much reminder text? Any amount of damage it deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. And it has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it. Except it's a white zombie human wizard creatures with flying. Thirststorm can't attack unless any player may discard a card. Well, I got some news for Thirststorm. You're an instant. Of course you can't attack. You are not an animated object. You have no power and toughness. You will never reach the red zone, the combat. Yeah, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thirststorm, and then Friday. Yeah, we're going to upgrade our strike. Bingo alert, making up the rules. Is it on here? Do we have a making up the rules thing? Making up the rules. Yeah, I forgot what first strike was. It analyzed 1 million cards, and for some reason, at least one of them, first strike came out differently. This episode is human themed. Pretty so far. Also, don't grammar. You know what? You're right. It was going to happen one way or another anyway. Where is it where it forgot the grammar? It don't grammar. Half these cards, if they're lucky, they'll grammar. First strike now comes with Death Touch and Free Clone. I'm all for it. Does it do anything else? Yeah, it's basically Death Touch. And maybe Planeswalker Death Touch. The perfect combination. Okay, not another card not doable to the rank that it goes. These are awful cards. The Wearer's Torture. This is a 3-mana artifact. Oh man, the 3-mana mana rocks. Tapped out of colorless. Pay 2, tap. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. If that creature has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, create a token that's a copy of it. Exile Wearer's Torture. Interesting. It's a clone. So hold on, it needs, how does the order work? Does it need to have 5 +1/+1 counters on it? Oh, no, it has, you can have the counters, but it's going to get -1/-1 until end of turn. It's not a counter. So if we make a creature 4 +1/+1 counters, like a Hydra or something, a lot of those Hydras come into play with counters, we can copy it. We can make a clone out of that damn thing. Flavor-wise, is this correct? I have no idea. What is the story spotlight bulk? We found the counters player. Excited Raichu. This is right up their alley. This is pretty niche use. Have to build your own deck around it. I don't think it's that difficult. I think it would work perfectly in a Simic deck. There's a lot of Simic decks out there where you use the green to ramp and play out big creatures that come into play with counters. You can use the blue to like double the counters and mess with them and stuff like that. Although I don't know how useful it is going to be. Oh, and there is a problem. A lot of these creatures that come into play with counters, if we clone them, they're going to die instantly. Like a lot of those Hydras or whatever, they're 0/0s. And when you make a copy of it, it's not like it copies it with the counters. Does the clone no, it does not. That's my realization here. This and Mass Hydra. Okay, let's look up Mass Hydra for a second. Mass Hydra. Does it work? I don't. Oh, Moss Hydra. In that case, Mossborn Hydra, 3 mana. See, this one will die. It will die instantly. Oh no, this creature enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. Okay, no, it won't die instantly. I actually live. Yeah. And then with landfall, it doubles the counters. Okay, this actually works out, sort of, in a very bizarre type of way. So anyway, yeah, the Wearer's Torture, and I guess I don't know, it falls off eventually. Card works. Is this a Merfolk Cyborg tech against Yawgmoth? It wouldn't really do anything. It just gives the creature -1/-1 until end of turn. The Nether Void. It's a plane. All creatures have shadow. Good God. Well, then nothing has shadow. It like doesn't matter. That's like the weirdest effect. Like, okay, it screws the shadow creatures, I suppose. Like, shadow is like creatures can block or be blocked by only creatures with shadow. You know, they work in a shadow realm, a completely different world, but they can still attack you for some reason. Whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under the control of its controller at the beginning of the next end step. Whenever a creature... Oh, okay, so they just keep bouncing back. And whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 3 life. Whoa! This is like... No! God, please, no! This is effectively... what is the thing of Revels? Eidolon of the Great Revel on steroids. Because whenever you play any spell, you lose 3 life. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. Get after Dothy Voidwalker. You're not the only shadow in town around here. It's basically anti-shadow attack. Effectively. It's defense against the shadow deck. How many shadow decks are there? Anyone building a shadow deck? It's sort of useful. Like, it works both ways. Like, you can attack and not get blocked, but when they attack you, you can't block either. So it doesn't exactly, there's not really a net benefit out of this. So long as you can deal with them not attacking you. Plane Chase is a very underrated format. I printed custom plane and chaos cards for my play group. You never knew what would happen. Yeah, you could get hit by the Nether Void. There's some people here. Is plane an actual thing? Yes. This is called, as mentioned by Quill, this is a Plane Chase card. And you roll dice or something to change it, something like that. I don't know. I've never played with these cards. They look alien. They look like they came from the Star Wars TCG, so I've completely avoided it. Anyway, this looks it's actually doable. Might even Zybers for some people. It will screw over the shadow deck in your play group though. Moving on, we got the Stibly Horde. This is a 3-mana 4/4 Dryad minion. It's got flash, so watch out. When Stibly Horde enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each creature and each player. Wow, that's actually pretty brutal. It's a Pyroclasm. Hold on, there's actually a lot of... No, it's like a Kozilek's Return. So we already have Kozilek's Return, 3 mana, deal 2 to everything, instant speed. And now we got this on a creature. So that's a little bit more broken. Pay 2, sack another creature. Stibly Horde deals 2 damage to any target. This is strong. This is absolutely bonkers. I'm very, very unhappy to see this card. Von Ragnar's like, I want that in my sacrifice deck. You're going straight into the sacrifice deck. Well, we found all the Gruul aggro players in the house. This is Iber's hard. It's pretty, like, it's not impossible to beat. It's probably very legacy commander power level. Probably really frustrating to play against because, like, you play this and, like, hey, all you mana dorks out there, goodbye, so long, see ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Just nukes them all. Ash is like, I want that in literally any deck. Yeah. This will go great in my mono blue deck. All I have to do is splash some Gruul and we're good to go. I'm no Gruul player, says Quill, but it is quite good. Relatively balanced for AI stand. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, in the AI world, I mean, this is pure crap. 3 mana doesn't actually win the game upon being cast. Stone cold unplayable. Imagine making an AI deck with all the cards that we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, the games should technically be over by turn 0. Like, even before the game starts. We probably have seen some card, like, reveal this card from your hand, and before the game starts, you may reveal this card. If you do, you win the game. And you have to instantly stifle it to stay in the game. Very fair, Zybe. I think this is really strong, all things considered, but it actually is the most real card we've seen. I believe that's a Bingo's card. There's got to be something here. Actual real card. One... Same name as a real card, forgot to shuffle, flavor, mass, instant. Oh, there was that card that wanted to attack. That's definitely gets hit. Huh, I thought there was like an actual real card. Yeah, I'm wrong. But at least there was that instant that wanted to get into the red zone, so that works out. For AI, it's definitely underpowered, but yeah, real card. Okay, moving on. The Barbarian Scholar. No matter how barbaric you are, it's never too late to get back to the books. A 5-mana 4/5 Eldrazi Elemental. When Barbarian Scholar enters the battlefield, if you control 3 or more forests, Barbarian Scholar deals 2 damage to each creature other than Barbarian Scholar. My god. It's the Pyroclasm metagame. Basically, nothing's allowed to be alive unless it has 3 or more toughness. And a human. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's draft playable. And you have to be heavy in the green deck, which is actually good. A lot of the Eldrazi's these days, they're very pushed towards green anyhow. Oh, hey, the AI is really enjoying dealing 2 damage to him. I know, which is bad for me as like a merfolk player. Like, my creatures are usually just 2 toughness or worse. I'm not looking forward to this metagame. I gotta only play with big chunky creatures. It's mid-range is back, baby. And you know what? I'm fine with this. We have to kill all those stupid prowess creatures. The Monastery Swift Spears, the Soul Scar Mages. I'm tired of them. This is the answer. The AI already found it. Do you know how the free bingo space works? You auto-cross at the beginning of the bingo. You know what? I don't even usually consider it free. It's got to earn its right. There was one show where we didn't... It's basically free. Danger means it's got to be some incredibly broken, busted nonsense. There is a 97% chance we're going to find one of those cards today. Yeah, rating AI generated cards, the Pyroclasm edition. All right. Doable card. Obstination Cosments. I can't tell you if either of those are real cards. Sorry, real words. Land. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may draw a card. We had one of those. We had one of these abilities like last week. I swear. So we have a land that has no mana ability. Whenever opponent discards that, and it has a broken other ability. It danger immediately. Busted in black. Yeah, discard a card. Oh yeah, there is a land that doesn't tap for mana. Good call. Where is it here? Mass land. Land doesn't tap for mana. Take that, madness players. Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, we keep making them discard cards. I Thoughtseize you, and also I'm going to cash in on that Thoughtseize. Huge incentive. Now, you do have to still cast. I mean, you still need to get this land in play. So, honestly, you're not going to play it until, the right moment. You'll be on, I don't know, turn 4 with your Wheel of Fortune. And then you play your Obstination Cosments. What is a Cosments? Cosments, is that a word? Definition. No, it doesn't exist. It's not anything. A landfall and boom. Play this turn 1. Mana is optional. What are you gonna do with it turn 1? It doesn't tap for mana. Basically, oh, you mean, can this mess with people? Like, how many players are playing with like a discard outlet type of deck? You can tap for mana, you get Urborg out. You're right, Joe. You're not wrong. You can force discards on opponents and gain crazy advantage off this. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, so whenever an opponent discards a card. So when you play Wheel of Fortune and you have 3 opponents, that's 21 cards. Be careful, you might discard yourself to death. I mean, also... Oh, no, it says you may draw a card. Ooh, this is extra broken. Okay, this ability is danger. I think this is a very danger ability. Especially attached to a land. This is crazy. So, like, people can't even force you to draw out your deck. That's impossible. Finally, my Hollow One sideboard deck. Yeah, when they're playing their Burning Inquiries and Faithless Lootings. Oh, yeah, that feels good. That sounds good. Yeah, play as many Faithless Lootings as you want. Give me more cards. Ah, yes. Faithless Looting. I used to feel the pain hearing that card, but now you can make it rain. Faithless Looting makes it rain. I think this card slaps. At least it didn't tap for black. Well, none until we get our Urborg out. No. MTG nerds loving explaining things. Absolutely. All right. This card, it's doable, but a danger. Next up, we have an unnamed card. The card that shall not be named because it has no name. It's a red 1 generic sorcery, and that's all we know. Each player votes tokens. Then planeswalk away from this phenomenon. I don't even think it's talking about the game anymore. What is a good explanation for this card? It's also asking us the card is asking us the questions. What do we want to do? Each player votes tokens. Is that an option? Maybe. How about we vote tokens? Maybe we have a bunch of people in the art voting. Benjamin loves it. Planeswalking away from the phenomenon. You are damn right we're planeswalking away from this vote. I turned 360 and planeswalked away. You mean 180? Remember, when you turn 360, you actually turn back to where you started. Phenomenon is a card type. This wasn't even one. We have Sheev Lord. Does this count as deeply voter bingo space? Oh, that's a good question. No, because they're voting away. I don't even know what this vote. This is like some sort of like throwaway party. You know what I mean? Do we have a deeply voting space? Oh, we do have a deeply. Do we have a flying space? How do we have a deeply voter but not voting for flying? Unbelievable. Okay. This is nonsense. We've disqualified a lot of cards today. Life Gi pays. Whatever that means. It's a 2-mana artifact, and for 2 mana, discard a card. Creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Not bad for a red artifact. And also for channel. What is channel? Is that like a disco? What is channel? Can't remember this ability. Anyway, black, 1 generic, discard life G pays, counter target instant spell. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. So you throw this in your Rakdos deck, which normally doesn't have a whole lot of access to counter spells, and you can all of a sudden counter instant spells with this thing. I don't have to spend mana. G pays for this. Oh yeah, G pays. I mean, it's super playable. And also, I mean, I don't remember what channel is. Is that, is that the land? Well, we have to discard this. This comes from our hand. That's the land ability. And they put it on an artifact. Which works, I guess. Yeah, channel is that ability from the Neon Dynasty Kamigawa lands. Italic is just flavor text, not rules. So anyway, that's interesting. So you have an artifact. You know this would also be fine in... No, not really. I was thinking you could put this in like a Dimir deck. It's best as in a red deck. I don't even know if you ever want this on the battlefield. Discard a card. Creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. That's just crap compared to the channel ability. Just keep it for channel. Channel pay cost, discard the card, do effect. Absolutely. Okay, cool. That one's doable. That one works. Okay, Buckles Hunting. This is a 4-mana instant. Look at the top X cards of your library. And name who copy 1 Planeswalks. If you win, the damage can't be prevented. Well, no crap. If there's no land, parks. Each player does sheep. They make 1 life. And there's flavor text. You know what? There's more. All I was Tamris. Their Volkage's death quates. Lang seeping off them to Doph. And Quincy Wild Dark lethal. Seeking Airbore Montes. Humors charm weaponry. Damn. Only half of those words are real words. Pure Diblick. Absolutely. It's purely Diblick. Board it. We're boarding it out of here. It's gone. Well, oh. Well, how's my boing sound effect not work? Oh, I moved my boing sound effect. Oh my God. You heard that music? That means it's time to thank our sponsors. We're going to get back to the Victory Transcal, but we got to thank our sponsors today. FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. It turns out you can also get Pokemon TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh! Flesh and Blood, and more at FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week is save off 20% off all sleeves. If you're a person who plays in tournaments, you got to be playing with sleeves day and night. Now is a good time to get a deal on those. Not to mention, the Fusion Gaming Open, April 12th to 13th. I'm going to be there. Where's Tarkir Dragonstorm? Pre-order your Tarkir Dragonstorm, but not only that, pre-order your singles from FusionGamingOnline.com. And because it supports the channel, it also supports it harder when you're using coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases, which means it supports you too. I look out for all of you. You know, I'm thinking about you. It's not about me, it's about you. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards for the digital client Magic Online, where you can play Commander, one-on-one Commander, Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy. Have you ever played Vintage before? Well, you don't need $55,000 when the cards can be rented digitally. I mean, the cost of Vintage Online is like, I'm not going to say it's pennies, but it's a lot less than $55,000. You can rent any deck in your imagination when you're renting with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_BKS. And back to AI-generated nonsense. We've got the Victory Transgal. Victory. That's positive thinking right there. Quadruple green for a 4/4 Moonfolk Performer. When Victory Transgal enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return up to 4 target cards from your graveyard to your hand. That's value. Oh my god. I feel like I just drew, 4 cards? Circle of Flaming Resaloon for 8 mana. Discard a card. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost. Is this like basically a flashback cost? Okay, so the Circle of Flaming Resaloon is just ability to play it for like 8 mana. It actually has synergy. So you want to when the Victory Transgal dies, you get cards back, and then you can bring the Victory Transgal back. And then we got, what is it? Shroud? Not Shroud, Shroud. Victory Transgal deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If that player gains, you may bear spells with a Goblin Planeswalker has artifact. This turn they investigate. Damn it. So close to the finish line, then just tripped and fell flat on its face. Shroud with the silent R. The Shroud. The Shroud. Absolutely gave up at the end. Do we have a gave up? Gives up at end? One word text, same as name. Forgot to shuffle. Nope. We don't got anything. I love the investigation goblin. Yeah, who doesn't? I was legitimately excited until that end part. Yeah, well, you have to pass the finish line to finish the race. All right. So long, Victory Transgal. Next up, we got the Gitu Marios. There's a 5. What the hell? This is My Little Pony cosplaying as Mario. 5 mana for a 3/3 Weird Pegasus. Protection from Black Shroud. Is there any black creatures with Shroud? It has to be some sort of like mix or meld between like green and black, or like a Golgari creature or something like that. Cumulative upkeep. You can either pay green, white, or a Dimir in addition to battle. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Whenever a card is put into a graveyard from anywhere, from anywhere, X is that creature's power. Damn. They don't card. They don't design making sense. We got Rooster over here with that. That is a weird Pegasus. Absolutely. It's a wee Amarios. Nethervoid, the plane from earlier, is the name of an existing world enchantment. Does that count? Oh, absolutely. Okay, so we had one card that was the same name as another card. That is, there we go. Same name as a real card. Hey, Cocomex. This card is weird. It's okay. The cumulative upkeep will kill it before the other text becomes relevant. You know what? You're completely right. But still, I'm sending it to the Urank with all the other dead AI-generated Magic the Gathering cards. What are they even? What is this weird world here? There is a bit of a lake, a stream, at the same time, a ton of active volcanoes all over the place. Okay, Lanko the Elemental. What is going on here? This is a 5 mana 4/4 human. It's a human Newman. It's cute. Flying and indestructible. It doesn't look like it flies very well. It does have some wings though. I guess this was on its flight downwards. We caught it at its landing. It's a magical boat. It's like the flying Titanic in Doctor Who. Whenever Lanko, the Elemental, deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 red goblin creature tokens and Venice 1 to the battlefield. What the hell is Venice 1? It's obviously a mechanic that has been unexplained here. Venice 1, mamma mia! I gotta get more Mario sound effects. Mamma mia! Oh! Oof! We are building Venice here. We're building Venice. It's going to be filled with humans. It's got to be 3 toughness humans because Pyroclasm's going to kill them all. Yeah, well, Venice wasn't built in a day. That's right, Highwind. Venice 1, vehicles gain island walk. Maybe. In Venice, they need island walk. Otherwise, they're not going to get around. So close every single time. Well, okay, Venice 1 is fine because we don't know what Venice 1 is. So this actually is a doable card. And there's also a new creature type. Do we have like a bingo spot for creature type? No, we don't have new creature. That would be too easy for the bingo square. This is, by the way, this is the AI generated hard mode bingo card. Super hard mode. If there's a token called Venice 1, that would help. That would help, wouldn't it? Well, we got red goblin creature tokens and Venice 1 to the battlefield. It sounds like a very, very specific token or card of some sort. Okay, I'm gonna give it a pass. You know what? I'm gonna say it's doable. Compared to all the other stuff we've seen today, it might as well be doable. Ehal the Sleeper. This is a 4-mana 4/4 plant skeleton. But remember, it's not gonna have Forest Walk today. For 3 mana tap, Ehal Sleeper deals 3 damage to each other creature and each player. We just can't keep creatures around. What's up with the hell? What the hell's up with these abilities? This is completely ridiculous. Okay, now this one is super nuts. This is 12 mana tap, sacrifice Ehal Sleeper, exile each creature with mana value greater than or equal to your starting life total. Then put 2 of those cards into your hand instead of putting into your graveyard. It's a board wipe. Absurd mana. Yeah, might as well be. You're not wrong. Where is it? Absurd. This is absurd. This is crazy. Judge. My opponent should not be able to wipe everything off the battlefield equal to their starting life total. Which for commanders, it doesn't matter what game you're starting off in. It's just going to be crazy. Dang, my X26 creatures died this turn. Exile, yeah, each creature with mana value greater than... Oh, wait a minute, it needs to be greater. Oh, I read that differently. So we exile each creature mana value greater than or equal to your starting life total. Oh, that's terrible. Oracle 15 is the high. Well, there's also Draco. So this it hits nothing. Yeah, it's actually quite useless. Yeah, I thought it hit everything underneath. I did it wrong. So now all of a sudden, it sort of does nothing. Should count for card contradicts itself instead of putting in graveyard, but effect exiles. Oh yeah, that's right. Is there a contradiction slot? Card contradicts itself. Can't bring cards back if they. Also, you can't even exile cards if nothing gets exiled in the first place. I guess it's meant for some format where you start at 5 life, or maybe you start at 1 life and you get 1 extra life every turn that goes by. Maybe there's some 40 creatures in AI verse. Oh yeah, absolutely. Pretty sure we've seen a few cards that are like 50 mana or so. Okay, we've got Corum. Thanks so much for your super chat. Nikachu, your AI streams help me get through work. Can we get another card at the end? Absolutely, Corum. Thank you so much, Corum Hayes. Yeah, even the big furry monster is safe. Okay, okay, technically doesn't work. The ability contradicts itself. Otherwise, it would be fine. And by fine, I mean barely doable. Okay, Kamir's Historian. This is a 4-mana 3/3 dwarf artificer flying. With ward, what is this ward cost? Okay, ward, white, 1 generic. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may exile a swamp card from among them. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. What the hell is this? Okay, so if I want to kill this thing, it's like I'm paying for an ability. Okay, I'd like to kill you, Kamir's Historian, but I would like to get the benefit of paying a white 1 generic. Reveal the top 4 cards of my library. I can exile a swamp, and I can put the revealed cards on the bottom of my library in a random order. put the reveal cards on the bottom. So actually, it does nothing. So when I don't, it's yeah, it's actually thinning my deck in the crappiest way. Now that I think about it, because we're going to be basically removing a swamp from the bottom of our deck. Maybe. Otherwise, we're just taking 4 cards from the top, showing it to everybody, and then we're just putting them on the bottom. Oh, very balanced, Benton. It's the most balanced card we've seen today. You do at least have to pay the 2 mana. You know what? Okay, you know where it sort of works out? If your opponent stacked anything on top of their deck and they absolutely need to kill the Camir's Historian, that's where it would work out, because like all the cards that you've put on top. But then it could work the other way around, right? So you could have brainstormed or brain surged, and you put 1 good card on top and a bunch of bad cards on the underneath it. You draw your good card, and then you'd want to hit, target the Camir's Historian to get rid of the bad cards that you stacked on top of your deck and try to get closer to fresh cards. I think the revealing is the cost of targeting the spell on this creature. At the very least, yes. But you do, at the end of the day, you do have to put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. The whole text plus the 2 mana is the cost for an opponent to target this. You can't trigger your own ward. Yeah. So yeah, this is not for us. It's for our opponents. But it's just bizarre. I mean, it just looks like an ability. Just looks like a regular ability. It's most effed up looking ward cost I've ever seen. That's for sure. Good ward if the opponent can't pay white. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, if your opponent can't pay white, I mean, they're just stone cold screwed. Denied. Your application to kill my Historian. I'm sorry, it has been denied. So actually, in some ways, it's super OP. So it's like, okay, you don't play white? Well, I mean, this might as well be indestructible. Protection from everything that you do. We screw the top 4 cards of our library so it ruins any setup they may have. Yeah, any setup they may have had. Oh, the Exile is also a May, so it's Ward 2. Gotta show a little bit of your library. It's an alternative hexproof. Alternative Shroud, too. Although uncounterable cards can still get through to it. Okay, good talk. That was actually interesting. You know what? I think the Zybers a little bit. I think it's cool. Votes for flying. It absolutely votes for flying, even though we don't see much flying going on over here. Those flying Historians. Okay, Perilous Corpse. This is a blue instant with Rebound. Target creature gets +0/+2 until end of turn. Choose an opponent. Okay, I choose you! I choose players for no damn reason. Pen Ninja! I want AI to play against AI with these cards. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Pen Ninja. And with that super chat, we'll take a look at another card at the end of the show. Yeah, it's definitely a look at it card. Do we have look at it here? Forgot to shuffle. Flavor text on point. No, we don't. Good art, bad card. Is it a good art? Are you into this sort of style? I'm not. You know, this reminds me of something my grandpa had on his wall. And, well, anyway, it sort of it's not invoking a whole lot of excitement out of me, if you know what I mean. I don't even know what's going on in this art. Some people are really struggling to get across what appears to be a very short river to the other side. Just don't play this on Valentine's Day. Confuse an opponent in an awkward way. I was saying I choose you. Aw, that is so heartwarming, Highwind. Very heartwarming. And we're stronger together. That's why it's the +2 is divided between me and you. The art looks like a real art. The art looks like real art, aside from all that weird AI-generated nonsense. Well, actually, maybe it is real art. There's the art is credited to someone at the bottom, so this is not AI generated. Is this AI art? It's not. I don't know why. The AI decided, you know what, this art works perfectly with this card. Yeah, it is a real art. I don't know what the decision was behind that. Well, anyway, or it works. Technically not illegal. It's not breaking the law. So you can throw it into the next set if you ask me. Next up, we've got the Vampire Keter. This is a 3-mana 2/1 zombie wizard with Myriad. And for 1 mana, Vampire Keter gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Any player may activate this ability. That is amazing. So if you attack with this card and you're allied with someone and they got a lot of mana, they can sink everything that they want into this card and then just one-shot some player. Everyone gotta be on everybody's side when the Vampire Keter is out. Is Myriad a real bit? Yeah, it is. To be honest, Dogtarian, I can't tell you what it is. It's like it's a commander ability. I'm not a commander enough person to know what Myriad does. It's like, doesn't it like make an attacker when it attacks, you make a copy of it or something that attacks everybody else, some crap like that? A vampire that's a zombie, nice. There's not many of them out there. It's actually not technically a vampire. It's called a vampire. Maybe it was a vampire when it was half alive. Because a vampire is an undead creature, right? You got the living, then the undead, and then I guess zombie is a lower form of undead. Creates an attacking token for each opponent. That's right. I could feel it. I can feel what Myriad does. I don't know what the hell it actually does. This is actually super good for politics, says Quill. Everybody can buff the one attacking the person that they hate. Exactly. That's why I say everyone's got to be on everybody's side here. All vampires are zombies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Only one undead can be is allowed. Steve Cooper says, when you attack, you create... Oh, yeah, we got it. Feedy Fox, bait people into bluffing your Vampire Keter. And then after combat, fling it at someone else. Oh, yeah, you could... you get someone else to help you buff the creature and then fling it for extra damage. Bibbity boobity, I will now smack your faces. That real quote. The goblin becomes an artifact and has investigate. Huh? I think Richard is 40 minutes behind the show. I think it's cool. Okay, I think it's Zybers. I think it's Zybers hard too. I think this is a really cool card. You could even... Okay, what's actually cool is it creates a copy for each other player. So everybody... Every single time you attack has the option to like pump up extra damage to screw them. And then, which is funny because if you do that, then that incentivizes other people to pump up the Vampire Keter that's attacking them. It's a super politics card. Super politics card. Only one of the copies gets buffed though. +1 until ensuring any player may act. Yeah, but that's true. But that's the idea. So player A can buff up the Keter that's attacking player C, and then player C can buff up the Keter that's attacking player A. You know, mutually assured destruction for as long as you have equal mana. But in this world, whoever has more mana has more power. All right, whoever has Cabal Coffers out there, Guy's Cradle. They're gonna go great with this card. Okay, this was a really cool card. Okay, we got Stetton's Elward. It's a 3-mana instant. Shuffle your library. Well, that's the end of this card. This card doesn't really do anything. Yeah, we gotta shuffle it. Shuffling every day is shuffling. Do we have a shuffling thing on the bingo card? Shuffling. One word donate has the flips. Nope. Oh, forgot to shuffle. No, that doesn't count. This is the opposite of that. This card wants you to shuffle. This card is reminding you to shuffle. If you didn't shuffle, well, I'm gonna force you to do it. Oh, you tried to stack something? Are you cheating? Are you trying to stack something on top of my deck? Well, I've got a counter to that. I've got the Statton's Elward. That's right, cheater. You can't get me. I put this card in my deck specifically for you. It's the exact opposite of the bingo space. I activate card shuffle to shuffle my cards. I activate the I activate Stanton's Owl Ward to shuffle my deck. You're going into the library. You're going into the library, Jimbo. Yeah, that's certainly a card. Okay. Anyway, it's crap. Well, I mean, I guess it's legal. It is the most underwhelming nonsense, though. Yeah, it has some application. If there's like a bunch of garbage cards on top of your deck, you can shuffle them away. But it's really weak. Do Dono says, by the way, there's an actual Yu-Gi-Oh card called Card Shuffler. Card Shuffle, whose sole purpose is to shuffle a deck. That sounds incredibly unethical. Incredibly unethical. We got the Blaze Apprentice. What's she smoking? This is a white star human artificer with flying for 1 mana. Okay, when Blaze Apprentice's power and toughness are each equal to the number of mountains you control. Oh, wow. So it's not really a 1-drop unless you have Sacred Foundry or Plateau in play. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, or an instant or sorcery spell, you may have that player discard a card. Interesting. I don't even know it's busted. Power and toughness are equal to the mountains you control. It's actually designed really well like that, because if you want this out on turn 1, you need to have enough plains in your deck to make it work. But not only that, it has to be a plains mountain for this to come out on turn 1. There are only, I think, 4 lands in the game. Sorry, there's only 2 lands in the game that do this, and that is Sacred Foundry, the shock land, and then Plateau, just the regular dual land. That's the only way you're going to get white and a mountain in play. Otherwise she perishes instantly. And stops the free spells. So it's very hard to get on turn 1. She's probably more of a 2-drop. So you get this thing. You actually get this card out on turn 2, because you play a mountain turn 1, and then turn 2 you play Blaze Apprentice, and then she doesn't die. And stops the free cards. Yeah, anti-plot card, omnipotence. You mean omniscience? It's not called. Yeah, it will become omnipotence, but at the moment it's called omniscience. Omniscience meets Blaze Apprentice. Now it's on omnipotence. Surveillance are basic types. Surveil lands are basic types, but they come into play tapped, which means you still can't get your Blaze Apprentice. So there's only 2 lands in the game that I can think of that are both land types, and you can get this thing out on turn 1. There's the other ways you can get, like, use like a Stomping Grounds, a green-red land, and use some sort of ramping card on turn 1 to get a plains out, then play Blaze Apprentice, so you can get around that, I suppose. Okay, cool. It's a really weird card. Does it trigger on all free cards and also all instants and sorceries too? Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, you may have that player discard a card. Well, they can cast the card, right? So, if no mana was spent to cast it, or if an instant or sorcery... I don't actually understand this sentence. We have that player discard a card. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, or an instant or sorcery spell, it broke me. I don't know. I don't get it. I can't read it properly. If no mana was spent to cast it, or an instant or sorcery spell. Okay, so if you cast a spell, no mana was spent to cast it, or whenever a player plays a spell, if no mana was spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may have... it actually is redundant. This is just redundant text. It's just, if you play a spell and if no mana was spent to cast it, you have to discard a card. Yeah, it's just redundant. At the end of the day, it's just a little redundant. Your AI streams changed my life. You're welcome. Marcus, if the spell costs nothing, but also if it costs something with an instant or sorcery, it triggers. At least that's how I understand it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be anything. Anything that was 0 mana. Because technically, instants and sorceries are still spells. Despite what some people might say. Okay, barely doable. Fascinating card. Honestly, is not really stopping free spells. Free spells still get played. You're just gonna get hoofed. And if you can play them at instant speed, you can just play them all anyway. Discard later. Mording Ahuri. It's a 3-mana 3/3 Vidalcan Artificer. When Mording Ahuri enters the battlefield with 3 fungus counters on it. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, create a 3/3 God Wall artifact creature token with flying and vigilance. Creatures you control have aura, as though they didn't have a fungus counter in their mana costs. What's the point of the fungus? We just put 3 fungus things on this thing for no reason. I guess it's to use somewhere else. A flying wall. Oh yeah, it's a I guess a 3/3 God Wall. Well, it doesn't have defender. So wall is just a name, you know? It's just their last name. It's God Wall. First name God, last name Wall. Venom says, how do you get in a fungus counter in their cost? Well, it's not a good idea to question the AI Magic the Gathering gods. Hey, there be fungus among us. There are flying walls in blue. Yeah, there are. 3/3 flying walls without defender, not bad, honestly. Yeah, I mean, you're mostly gonna play it for the wall part. Anyway, the last part of this card fell apart. Third ability didn't really get there. Well, this is cute. The Alabaster Doom Beeper. Very cute name too. It's the Doom Beeper. It coming to beep us. Come beep me. It's a 5-mana 2/3 elemental. Tap Alabaster Doom Beeper, deals 1 damage to target creature. Aw, it's so cute. It's dealing damage. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Alabaster Doom Beeper, and you may have it deal 3 damage to them. Thank you for your creature dying. So, like, if you wipe the board, this thing's going hard. Or if you can one-sided board wipe someone, you're gonna blast them for tons of damage. Anti-Yawgmoth combo. Oh, it's gonna be really hard to get this card in play. You gotta get in play faster than they're comboing off. The Doom Beeper earned its name. It's like a Doom Booper, except it beeps. Can't deal 3 when the creature is dead already. Yeah, so it has to be one-sided board wipes, or like, hey, look, we looked at a lot of Pyroclasm cards today. You know, all we have to do is play our Alabaster Doom Beeper, then we play one of those 4/4s when it enters the battlefield, Pyroclasms everything. Their stuff dies, our stuff lives, and you know, it's all 100% upside. If creatures die, you get Doom Beeped. You know, from now on, whenever I see like an activated ability dealing 1 damage, I'm just gonna consider that getting Doom Beeped. You know, if you tap and deal 1 damage, you Doom Beep the damn thing. Amazing art, bad card. That's not that bad. It has an amazing passive ability. The static ability absolutely slaps. Actually, I'm fairly sure this still triggers if it dies as well. Well, I think the counter needs to be put on the card. Put a +1/+1 counter on Alabaster Doom Beeper, and you may have. I actually have no idea. Okay, so this is Judge. We need answers to questions we can't answer. It sort of feels. I mean, it doesn't say you have to put a +1/+1 counter on your Doom Beeper. This card, King Monk says, this card reminds me in the alien from Star Trek, The Lower Decks. I didn't see that episode. This is a wonderful card, though. It has synergistic abilities and is very printable. The damn draws. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, why are we talking about Doom Beeper dying? Because the idea is, like, let's say we board wipe the board with Supreme Verdict or something. Doom Beeper dies. Does the ability still trigger? That's the question. Some cards are worded in a way like, put a +1/+1 counter on your Doom Beeper, and if you do, it deals 3 damage to, you know, the player. But in this case, it actually doesn't specify that you need the +1/+1 counter to actually happen. It enables field wipes to do damage to the opponents. This is a very strong card. Well, anyway, I think this is a super awesome card. Beautiful. Okay, time to explore our donated cards today. Thank you very much, Banowski. Because of you, we will look at the Uncle Conjurity. Ah, yes, that's the crazy uncle that you know. It's a 3-mana Sequinox instant. You have hexproof. Constellate. Death on target player. This feels like it's just in another language. This, I don't even know which one. Does this translate in Spanish or something? I'm gonna try to look up I'm gonna Google. Hold on, I'm gonna look up Google Translate. I'm gonna put in Constellate and see what comes out. Constellate. It looks like no, it came out as nonsense. Translates absolutely nothing. Video says this is not Spanish. Source: I speak Spanish. No, I speak Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. Not at all. Death ton equals drop a very heavy object on them. If something gets a death ton on it, maybe draw a card. Death ton target player. You have to Constellate and death ton target player. Now the hexproof is pretty sick. Oh no, but it's only an instant. So it's like a counterspell to instants that target you. This is Pig Latin. Maybe you know, Toads. How does Pig Latin work? It's like you say the word de constella. No, it still doesn't help. Ton death. Pretty sure that's a felony. Okay, we got F Civ says 3-mana hexproof for me forever seems like a decent sideboard card. Not to me. I think even for 3 mana, this sucks. You've heard of Crap Ton. Now meet this new figure of measurement, Death Ton. You're gonna get a Death Ton of Crap Ton. That's what I'm telling you. Can confirm it's not French. It's unrelated to mayonnaise. Well, you know, Google Translate couldn't even translate it to anything. Could not detect language. What is this dude doing anyway? Look, what would any uncle do? It looks like someone with a party hat is at some sort of nightclub, and like this is a black light shining on, I don't know, some spray paint and his fancy jacket. Very pointy hat too. Yeah, he's constellating, perhaps. Yeah, maybe. This is what's constellating at a death ton a lot. Looks like the uncle is tripping balls. Probably. That's what you need when you have hexproof. Yeah, wizard vibing at the club. The guy on the card looks like the kind of guy who would design this card. Looks like he's tired from partying too much. Well, you gotta take a time out once in a while. You party hard. You gotta relax. Look, he's got his, I don't know, mystery spring water over here. Anyway, funny card. Okay, next up, we've got a card. Thanks to Coram Hayes. Thank you very much for your donation. And your card is Pinyan's Death Call. This is a 2-mana 0/3 creature with no creature type. It's got trample. This creature can deal excess combat damage to that creature's... Oh, that's creature's color. It's so close. It screwed up at the end. Whenever Pinyan's Death Call enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, you may return it to its owner's hand. If you do, put Pinyan's Death Call into its owner's library twice. But I can only do it once. That's so strange. So if we deal damage, we can, we're going to switch it. We can go to our hand, and then when it's from our hand, we can put it back in our deck. You can't touch this. Try to discard from my hand now. It's not going to work. I got ya. That's a 500,000 big brain player over there. Damaging the colors. Very alchemy-like. Looks like Illuminati. I mean, I missed that part. It's worse than the Badger, the Charging Badger. We have our 0-3 Trampler over here. It's ready to get into the... It's getting ready to deal combat damage. It definitely needs a little bit of help. And it's in blue. This is the most off-color card of all time. We've got a blue creature that needs to deal extra damage, so it needs the support of red and green at the very least. It's got trample even though it has 0 power, but it needs power in order to deal combat damage. It cannot be attacking. We need to physically damage the opponent. What are these fists? These, this creature looks like it's prepared, but really it's all spaghetti arms. It couldn't kill a fly. Just gotta find that buff spell. Yeah, in blue. There's a few of them. There's not a lot. Got a few. We can work with this, chat. We can work with this. Make a copy and place it in the deck. I guess so. Make more copies. But you can't bounce the copies back to your hand, or at least you're not going to want to. We're going to go in Simic. That's right, Dono. Simic will make it work. All right. I'll say it's barely... I mean, it's a card. It's a pretty stupid card, but it's a card. Okay, and we also got... Oh, that's a cute card. We got a super chat from Pen Ninja. With the June... What is this? The Junakite Pains. It's a 4-mana 3/3 dog. It's got haste. And it's got plot for 4 mana. What does plot do again? I don't remember. When Junakite Pains enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, scry 2, then draw a card. Oh, it's got a kicker of blue. So for 5 mana, we have a 3/3 preordain of some sort. Don't kick the doggos. No kicking. Okay, we don't want to kick our dog. What is it doing? It looks like one of those things as a kid, those spiral graph things, and you can make like a bunch of designs. It's a pretty cute dog at that. Exile the card. You can cast the card. Oh, you're talking about the last card? What is it? What is plot? I can't remember what plot. Oh, yo, that's what you're talking about. It's the exile mechanic. Yeah, exile the card and you can cast the card on a later turn for free. But then you don't get the kicker. So that's weird. We got plot and kicker at the same time. Or can you are you casting the card for free? Maybe if you cast the card, you can still kick it later. And maybe it'll be even basically cheaper because you're sort of displacing the cost across the card. But then we're like, what's the point of plotting it? The plot! It's the same cast as the damn casting cost. I'm afraid I don't want to deal with PETA. I will not be kicking. I will not be kicking this dog. Yeah, anytime someone plays the Junakite Pains card, I'm going to kick my dog and everyone in the room. I wonder if is there a single dog in the game that has kicker? No one, or a cat. No one likes kicking the cats and dogs. Kicker is an additional cost, so you can kick it after plotting it. Okay, that works out. You can pay additional costs. Kicker, only the mana cost is free. Okay, cool. Well, that's it for today. We're having our bingo card. Damn, this is just too hard. It's too hard. We didn't even come close to anything. But anyway, we will one day. It's going to happen. I guarantee you. It's just the law of large numbers. We just need to get to the large numbers part. Okay, of course, my Zyber crew. My Zyber Nation. We do this weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to be here for the show. Thank you very much, everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show, or even extending the show on these AI shows. And of course, thank you so much to my coffee crew being here today. People like Blacklands Geo. We got Cairo. We got Bots. We got Vivazio. Benjamin Berkey, Devario, Toads, the Great Ghost, Kano, Yeezus, Video, Nightmare Incarnation, Dadam Draws. We got Muddle Weight, Crowcore Games, Draconic. We got Jonathan and Jess and Sheev Lord and DRDCA and Ellis. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. So, as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up those coffees. We're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourself, and I will see you at the next cup.